Oh, well done.
Thank you, Ruth.
But as we have done in every training session so far, we're going to have a quick look at mindset to start off with. So again, a few things for you to pop in chat. Do you want bookings in your diary? Be honest how you feel about bookings, and also would you like some more? So just have a pop a few things in chat for me about whether you want them, because I certainly do.
And not just for Kate, actually. I mean, those questions are good for us, aren't they? It's like, actually, hang on, why have I rocked up to training? Is it because there's nothing on the telly? Or it's why am I here? What do I actually want out of this? And am I re-energized? I love that photograph of your party. Everyone is really smiley, genuinely. The thing that I've missed is the conversations about absolutely anything that you can have round a dining room table, kitchen table, whatever. I love that. But it just, it's good to home in, isn't it? Right, where am I going with this as the sunshine comes out?
Yeah.
I think for me, I don't know whether anybody, I joined about 3 years ago, and I had sort of a steady flow, but it wasn't enough. So I work full time, but what I've trying to do now is pick up the speed of it a little bit more, and obviously get the contacts going. So I've sort of sat back a little bit, or possibly been a little bit lazy with it. I've had sales, as Jane knows, but I think because I'm now hopefully going to come to retirement and I need to move on to a different phase, I've gone a little bit rusty, really. And what I've done is I've fallen back on family and friends, and I need to lift it from that level to another level, really. I did try the first Christmas of COVID. I put flyers round to people's houses, obviously realizing that no way you could have a face-to-face, but just said, look, here's my number, here's what the products are at the moment, contact me if you need anything. And I got very, very little response from it. Whether it was the impact of COVID and people had bigger issues, I suspect it might have been something like that. But I'm now trying to go from the family and friends level to actually getting a real client base, you know?
Right, you're in a good place for that tonight, Roxanne.
Definitely.
Thank you.
So I was going to say the same thing, Sean. So it looks like people want bookings, but a bit worried. Got one, like 2 or 3. Yeah, definitely. I think everybody's a little bit apprehensive about getting back to, you know, what I class as normal partying. But you know, let's go through this and see how we're feeling at the end, and hopefully realise that we can still do it. So the first thing I want to talk about is, when I get rid of the chat, what is a booking? Again, share in chat what you think a booking is. What does the booking mean to you? And then I can show you my lovely animations. If I say how many bookings in your diary, what are you going to call them? Very good, Hazel. You've ruined my punchline, possibly.
She's been brainwashed.
Definitely. Okay. So I was expecting the following words. Any of those is what I was expecting. Parties, showcases, workshops, open houses, salon VIP evenings, online events, in-person events, but it all comes down to basically a collection of people around the product. So you can call it what you like, but anytime you have a collection of people around product, that's your booking. So, and then if you're not sure about doing them, why are bookings important to your business? So again, we're doing lots of chat tonight, so you need to talk to me. So why are bookings important to your particular business? What do you get from a booking? Yep. Yep. Expand customer base, sales and new customers, sales, leads. Perfect. So what I did was look at it based on your why. So why bookings are important to your business very much depends on your why. So if your why is about income, it's an amazing way to earn income. And on the next slide, I'm going to chat about how much that income can be. If you're into fundraising, it's your key fundraising tool. You can raffle the host gifts, you can donate a percentage of the profits, you can raise awareness of your charity to different people. If you're a therapist, it's a great way of expanding your client base. So if your client is the host and she invites all of her friends around, you've then got another group of potential clients for your therapy business, as well as also earning income for yourself. So brilliant way of doing it. If your reason for joining was to sell to friends and family, get your friends and family around and earn some pennies as well. And then if you want to meet people and get outside your circle of friends, get people to bring a friend along with you. So yeah, your why bookings are important also depends on your why for your business. And then looking at earnings from a party. So at the average party, you sell about £300 worth of products. Now, I actually once calculated this thinking, not sure the company's got this right. I bet it's not right. I bet it's this, I bet it's that. And I have to say my average was almost spot on £300, give or take. So that figure's definitely right. From that, you earn 25%, which is £75. And a party takes about 4 hours, obviously online being much less, which I think gives you an hourly rate of about £18.75. Now, the national minimum wage, although it's about to go up, is £8.91. So actually, doing your booking, your party, your showcase, your whatever, gives you a much better earnings than doing a minimum wage job. And I have to say, I find it a lot more fun. I'd far rather sit with a group of people and chat about product and share product with them than do another job, basically.
Okay, can you just expand a bit about the 4 hours? Because I'm thinking, what is that, 8 till midnight?
Okay, so the reason I put in 4 hours is there's a bit of preparation time, which includes host coaching. There's the actual time at the party. I don't know how long some people spend. I reckon, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, maybe, Sean? Yeah. And
unless
then
unless you're a good chatter and there's a lot of wine involved, in which case it can get a bit longer, I found.
Yeah. Yes, I must admit I've left parties at 11 o'clock midnight before, but I was probably having as much fun as the guests.
Yeah.
And then you've got the time it takes to place your order. And then when your order arrives, you need to package it up, and then you need to deliver or get your host to collect it. So that's why I've gone for about 4 hours. So obviously, if it's online, it is much less than that because you're usually only online for maximum about an hour. And often the products get sent directly to people. So online, you actually earn more, I guess. So.
Can I just ask one question and put it into the chat, because I hope it's not just me. When I first started doing parties, I'd spend probably 4 hours worrying about the party and gathering everything together, going through it all. I'm glad it's not just me, Roxanne, you're smiling. Gathering it all together, going through it, making sure I'd got everything, worrying about it a bit more. Yeah, Maddie as well. What I would say, guys, is you absolutely reduce your time the more you practice. If you are somebody who's seen, well, like that's nowhere near 4 hours for my first few, just keep doing them. My other top tip would be prepare your bag for the next party after the last party. Don't do it on the day of the party, because actually if you've got a party bag ready to go, that really does feel like it cuts down the worry and anxiety, and you're not driving along thinking, oh, did I pack the whatever? Okay, I did. Last minute is not helpful for the stress levels.
And the other tip I would say is if you can pack your bag away at the end of the party in a reasonably organised manner, so that you don't have to drag it all out again the following day and pack it properly, it does save a lot of time and it's well worth doing.
Like a pre-birth bag, Helen has put in the chat. It is quite a lot like that, actually, yes.
Yeah, it is.
And I just wanted to highlight what Ruth said there, actually using the same theme. So if parties are new to you, absolutely use your starter kit, get really good with that. If like, you know, this month we're thinking about spring skincare, just do that as a main theme, because that bag can just get repacked and repacked, and you're not switching and changing themes all the time. That's like changing hats. It's much more time intensive.
Yeah. So earnings are a nice, good reason for doing parties, but there's other reasons for doing parties as well. So they enable you to meet more people who could buy more products from you. So you've built that relationship with the person at a party. They're far more likely to come back to you and shop with you because they've got the relationship with you. And I think there's probably some statistics about that somewhere. People who attend parties might become hosts themselves. So they might book a party at the party, and then that's your party network starting to expand. They might join your team. I know somebody said that earlier, that the reason they do parties is to get leads. I was saying to Sian, we were planning this, that I made myself a really beautiful pie chart to show where a lot of my my new team had come from. And unfortunately, I couldn't find the pie chart, but the answer was the majority of new joiners that I used to get came from parties, because again, I built that relationship with them. I got to chat one-to-one with them. So yeah, lots of my team came from parties. They were either hosts or customers.
Yeah.
And party attendees might also become therapy clients as well. So lots and lots of reasons to, you know, to get your bookings in.
I think the other subtlety there of the join your team one, Kate, is that actually, if, for instance, I meet you at a party and you decide you want to be a consultant, what you've already had modelled is what a party looks like. In some ways, guys, as we come out of the pandemic, I'm looking at Claire Cowley on my screen. Claire, you joined when we were only doing online. So actually, we're going from a standing start where face-to-face is either very foggy or you've never done it before. If you've joined in the last 2 years, absolutely. So I'm aware that that's a dynamic. However, if we can get past this standing start bit and we do what Kate has just said happened in her business and time again, tried and tested method, where you are creating leads from parties, what you start to do is recruit people who already know what parties look like.
Yeah.
And that's a much easier space to get to. We've just got to do this clunky bit first. And yeah, Maddie, you're not, you know, you're in the same boat. I think lots of people are.
Yeah. And even that, you know, and those of us that have been around quite a long time, we need to get back in the boat of doing proper parties again, you know, face to face. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I also need to pull my finger out and find my hosts. So let's see how we find them, shall we? So there's a few things you might need to do before you book your parties. So the first one is to work out when you can book your hosts in. So hopefully you all know about Time Finder, but for those of you that don't, this is what the Time Finder sheet looks like. And the best way to use it is to help it show when you are free. So if, for example, you work every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then you can cross out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday during the day. If there's guides or football or yoga or whatever else, cross out your Thursday evening whenever you go to there. Basically, what we're trying to do is cross out all those times when you really, really can't have bookings, to then find the times when you can. So that gives you an idea of when you can book your parties in. Oh, wrong way. I need to go back. Let's go the right way, that way. So once you know when you can book, then you then want to think about what themes you can offer your host. So if you're a new joiner, look at your starter pack, and maybe you might need some help from your upline to work out the party. But your starter kit gives you an amazing base to do a facial party. I would always suggest you start off with facial parties because they're our core product range. They're the range that everybody uses. They're our best sellers, and it's the way to go. The other thing we've obviously got at the moment is samples. And we were talking about sort of how to do a party using samples. So obviously you might have the sample in your hand. I can't actually see myself on the screen anymore, but that's fine. Can you see the sample?
Kate, if you scroll up or down on the arrow have you got it on gallery view?
No, I didn't. That's it. We'll put it back on there. That's up. So I'm not being vain. It just means I can see what you guys are saying. Oops. Let me go back. Come on, technology.
Other way.
Yeah. Using the wrong arrows, that's why. Right, so sample there, but you don't actually have a full-size product. But what you can do, say to your party goers, is that's the sample, but actually it's in a bottle that's this size, so that they get an idea of what they're buying. So that sample comes in that kind of size bottle, and this is actually rose toner, which most people have in their starter kits. So it's a great way of just showing people, you know, what it looks like and what size they get, because, you know, people like to know what they're getting for their pennies. We've also got, talking about themes, we've got our seasonal guide. So the current seasonal guide has got your winter skincare, your spring skincare, and then we also had Balanced Mind and Body. And with those themes, so if you're looking at the spring skincare, which is our current theme, you've also got the sample packs. So you get all the samples you need, and you get 10 of each. So again, a really nice, easy way of being able to do different themes without having to go out and buy full-size products of each of those things. So just think about what you've got and go with that, basically. And then you want to think about how many bookings do you actually want to put in your diary. So we now know when we're going to do them and what our themes are. But the next thing is who we're going to ask. So did everybody do their homework and get their 15 names? If not, scribble a few down while I carry on talking, because if you're new to the business and you haven't done it yet, to work out who you're going to ask, we're going to look at Frank. And we did this slide last week for anybody who was with us. So just as a bit of a recap, Frank is our friends, relatives, kids, acquaintances, neighbours and kids. And you can either do it in one of two, you can do it basically any way that suits you. So you could do it as a bit of a mind map, or you could use the one in downloads. So it's a really great way of writing down a list of everybody that you know in those various different categories. And out of that list, we're then going to find our hosts.
Okay, can you just pause a moment?
Yep.
Because I really want people to have their list of at least 10, if not 15 names. Can you put a yes into the chat when you've done it? Don't think of people who are going to host or join or buy product, just 15 people you know. And then put a yes in the chat. Actually, don't put a yes in the chat. Put your number of how many bookings is right for you in any 1 month. And there's no right or wrong answer to that, because everybody has different amounts of time and attention to give to MYRO, but it's a kind of commitment to yourself. Thank you, Helen and Claire, for perfect examples of there is no right answer. How different are they? It's all good. When you've done your 15 names, stick your number in the chat. Okay, that's all good.
Brilliant. Everybody's there. Great. Okay, so putting it in the chat gives you a little bit of a commitment to yourself. So just keep in the back of your head, how many more do you need to pop in your diary in March and April to get that commitment? So now you've got your list. Here's another list for you. So here is a list of reasons why people might like to host. So they'd love the host goodies. That'd be me. They'd like some free and half price products. Yeah, that's me too. They would like to know more about Neal's Yard Remedies. They want to fundraise. They love a get together. They love the products. They used to live away. Hang on a minute, my window's in the way. And still have contact with people. They want to get together to support you, or they know lots and lots of people. So there are some reasons. And you've also, hopefully some of you have got your bookmarks with reasons people host and reasons to party. So, but based on that I love lists, if you go back to your list of 10 to 15 people and draw a circle around anybody on that list that you think will host. So I'll just give you a couple of minutes to do that. And then give me a wave or say done when you've done that. I hosted my first party because I tried the Garden Minter Bergamot body butter and it was the host gift at the time and I wanted it for free. Because I loved it.
If there are some people on your list who you think might host for more than one of those reasons, maybe just jot the reasons next to their name.
You're finding lots of people that have got lots of reasons to host.
Maybe that'd be quite good, Kate. So we know that people have done, when you've finished going through your list of names, if you just write in the chat how many people you put a circle round, and then we know you're done.
Brilliant. You guys are going to be busy. Brilliant.
And actually, whilst we're just waiting for people to finish, if you think, look at your number that you've just circled and then how many you said you wanted a month. How does that work out? Have you got 2 months lined up, 3 months? Or is it, you know, if you've got high numbers that you want in a month, you might think, right, well, if all of them say yes, that's next month sorted. You want those kind of intentions to line up, don't you?
Yep. And as nobody said 10 or 15, those people that you don't think will host, they're the ones that you're going to invite to your self-hosted events.
Yeah,
So
the
we're gonna-
customers. Yeah.
Yeah. So brilliant. Okay. So now we've got lots of nice hosts lined up. We need to work out how we're going to get them to say yes. So I like a formula, and there's lots of them around in this business. So this is the formula of 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to offer them 2 format choices. So we're going to offer them something formal. Would you like a workshop? Or something a little less formal, a party maybe. We're going to offer them 2 themes. Pampering facial, which would be your great new starter option, or maybe spring skincare. Can't say that. Then we're going to give them 2 months. Would you like to host this month or next month? And then we'll give them a choice of 2 days. So having looked back at your time finder, those are the 2 days that you would like to work on. So for me, that used to be Wednesdays and Fridays. And then 2 dates. So you're obviously going to pick 2 dates of 2 when, you know, if they say that Wednesday, you're going to give them 2 Wednesdays as an option. What this does is it keeps it really simple and encourages the person to make a choice. If you say to somebody, when do you want to host then? It's a bit too much of an open question. It leaves too much choice, but 2 options encourages them to make that choice. And then we're going to have the conversation. And that could be via Messenger, a phone call, face-to-face, of course. School gates are always a great place of booking parties. So what Sian and I then did, we had a little conversation on Messenger that we're going to run through with you. Do we want to read this out? Do you want to read your part and I'll read mine? Or do we want to let people read?
Sure. Yeah, sure. And then I think when we finished, it'd be quite interesting to get your feedback on any observations of this process. Okay. Hi, Kate. How are you? What did you think of the women's balance samples that came with your order last week?
Hi, Sian. I'm really well, thanks. I love the body cream, but I've not had a chance to use the massage oil yet. It was lovely to get some samples with my order.
Oh, I'm really glad you enjoyed the body cream. The massage oil is also good as a body oil if you want to use it for that instead. Just take your time to enjoy it, though.
That's a great idea, using it as a body oil. My legs need all the moisture they can get.
Mine too. That's jeans for you. Would you be interested in trying more of the whole Women's Balance range? I was thinking that as you already enjoy the product, and like others, you might enjoy a get-together with a few friends to try the range. What do you think?
Oh, hang on. I need to reduce my window. I would love to try more of the range. It's been ages since I've got my friends together, so this would give me a great reason to get the girls over. Also, a few of them could do with a bit of relaxation and pampering.
Awesome. Let's do it. Do you want an informal in the lounge vibe or something round the dining room table?
Round the dining room table, please. I don't want to get cream on my new sofa.
No, totally understandable. Okay, we can use the Women's Balance range and have a foot soak, enjoy the body products, or everyone can do a facial on themselves and focus on good products for face for this time of year and into summer. Which would you prefer?
That's your line.
Oh, or both if you want, at different times if you can't choose.
Sorry not to get back to you last night. I was out with the girls and wanted to see which theme they preferred. We'd love to do the foot soak option, please. I'll see how this workshop goes and may book the facial one for another time afterwards. Hopefully we can arrange a date soon, as I think we all need this.
Okay, that's great. I hope you had a nice evening. Happy to go for a date in March? I usually try to book Wednesday or Thursday evening. Would either of those work for you?
Thursdays are best for me.
Great. 17th or 24th?
24th, please. Gives me more time to invite people. How many people should I invite?
Okay, it's in the diary. How many can you fit round your table?
Comfortably 6, but could squeeze in 2 more if that's okay. Yay to it being in the diary. Do I get any treats for hosting?
Okay, so how about we meet up for a cuppa next week and talk through the plan, and yes, your treats too. Meanwhile, if we want to have 8 around the table, if you make a list of about 15 to 20 people you'd like to ask, as not all of them will be able to make it, and then we can talk about it when we have our cuppa. How does that sound?
Sounds great. When can you pop over? Monday or Wednesday, anytime during the school day is good for me. I'll make a start on my list.
Let's do Wednesday, 11 a.m. Great. See you then.
Perfect. Looking forward to seeing you. So what observations do you guys get from that?
It all developed as it went on, didn't it?
Was that Rosemary?
Yeah, sorry. yeah, sorry. So it just developed as the whole thing it evolved as you went along, didn't it? And it covered all the basic things you needed to cover then.
Yeah.
It was informal, the way of doing it. Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
What about the timings of the conversation?
There's some things in the chat. Informal yet focused. It was to the point. Invite more than you need. We've got in the chat.
Yeah. Anything else? Yep.
Yeah.
Times and dates. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, acknowledging what the person said before the next piece.
Yeah, it becomes more of a conversation.
Hmm.
He kept it casual, so the host coaching is a cuppa and a chat.
Yep.
It was great. Can people find 15 to 20 people? Well, interestingly, Claire, I usually say if they want 8, I double it. And what that can be, but that's a whole other training, is a rebooking, because I would be saying, right, so what we're going to do with the other people on this list who aren't coming to this one.
Yep.
So that can develop the bookings, but also even if they don't make 15 to 20, if I've set it at 15 to 20 and they've only got 10, we can grow that list. If I say 10, they do 5, and then we haven't got enough.
Yeah.
Reach for the stars and all that.
Yeah, we'll do host coaching on the next call anyway. So I have to say I learned quite a lot from doing this process, because I am quite good at doing that big long message with far too much information in it, and then getting a oh no, I don't think I can do that kind of answer. So I actually learned a lot from Sian through doing this and keeping it really short and punchy. So this has helped me out loads as well, which is brilliant. The other thing I just wanted to mention is that if you look at the timestamps and the dates on these things, so Sian asked me the previous night what theme I wanted, but I didn't actually reply till the following day. So, you know, it can either go two ways. You can kind of spend the whole night going, why hasn't she replied? Have I said something wrong? Does she now hate me? Is she not going to book the party? Or you can do the thing that I now do is, oh, she's obviously busy. I'll go off and do something else. I'll chat to the next host. I'll cook dinner. I'll, help the kids with the homework, rather than doing that constant internal chatter of, she definitely hates me. I definitely said something wrong. She's not going to book. When actually I'd gone out with my friends and I wanted to talk to them about it. So never make assumptions about what the other person is thinking and why they're not responding. So I think I worked out this conversation took place over about the course of 20 hours. Obviously we did sleep as part of that.
Yeah, rather than it taking 20 hours to read a great long message where you've put everything in it and then you get a no. But it was quite an interesting process. The challenge to me was absolutely, and Kate and I agreed this, it was about leading by example, because actually our diaries were sick at the point where we were creating this booking training. And so actually what I did, we agreed that, Kate we'd exchange for a bit and then she'd leave the rest and come back the next day with that answer. And so what I did was I messaged 3 of my past hosts that evening, because it made me do the opposite of what Kate's just said, where you sit and stress about it and why isn't she replying and she probably doesn't like me and she's never going to say yes, and you do all of that. Get busy with someone else on your list. And so I thought, right, we'll lead by example, Sian, get in touch with 3 of your past hosts. And I'm just going to read you a conversation. One of the hosts that I'd had before, she'd placed an order for a new face cream, and she said, if the mini collection comes up on offer, I'm going to get one for holiday. So I messaged her back and said, okay, will do. When's the holiday? How about a fun night with the girls, actually face to face, now that the wedding has happened, her daughter's just got married? To have your mini collection as part of your host freebies, ? Nice themes at the moment, mind you, they always are. She sent back, no holiday in sight yet, give me some time to have a think about it. She's still got something else going on in life, but it would be lovely. When are you thinking? So I said, oh, it was a mini collection for future plans, no problem, but I think it would be fun and a nice thing to look forward to after the wedding. And of course, we would need to see the photos. In terms of when, totally up to you, and only if it's a nice thing. Spring is a good time to raise the spirits. And she said, sounds great, and just what I need, regardless, actually. I'll set the seed amongst my friends, thank you. And we've got it booked for next month.
Perfect.
So the reason I'm reading that is because it is an absolute reality of a WhatsApp message that went backwards and forwards that's actually quite similar to the beginning of the one with Kate. Now, that needs following up because it didn't follow through all the way through to the date actually being booked, because I needed to give her some space to sow the seeds amongst her friends. So what I've done is I've diarised that for this week to go back and say, how did you get on? Which theme did they prefer? Not do they want to do it? You know, so to kind of encourage that to happen. And it's that kind of organisation that certainly for me doesn't come naturally. I have to program it into my diary or else I forget it. And I have a good conversation and then woof, it's gone. And then we forget all about it. So know yourself and know how you want to carry that on.
Yep, most definitely. So now, actually having that as a conversation, Sian, do you want to do a role play with somebody, or do you want to?
I think, guys, I mean, you say whether it be helpful to actually hear that conversation, but because we've read it out, it feels like you could translate that easily into a face-to-face chat or a phone call. What I would say is do whatever is normal communication for you and that person. Don't be weird. Don't bring them up if normally WhatsApp is the way you communicate with them. Conversely, don't not talk to them in the street and WhatsApp them instead. Just keep it really normal. But do you need to hear that conversation happening, or because it's 22, I'm just thinking perhaps we need to move on? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
So, move on, it's fine.
Yeah, thank you, Rosemary. Yeah, Claire's on as well. Good, you've been outvoted everyone else.
Shall we move on then?
Yeah, why not? But I will just say this, practice it with someone. Practice it driving along. Everyone will just think you're on the phone. It's fine. They won't think you're mad. Practice that 222 thing that Kate just talked about. It's really helpful.
Yeah, it works really, really well. So obviously, not all conversations will end in a yes, I'd like to book a party. Some end in a not now, and some end in a no, thank you. So if your answer is not now, you could invite them to an event that you're going to host. If the answer to that is no, thank you, you could ask them if there are any products they would like. If the answer to that is no, thank you, you could offer to send them some samples. And I can guarantee 99.99% of people will say yes to some free samples. So although you might not have got your party, they might not be coming to your self-hosted evening, they might not be shopping, you've got products into their hand in the form of samples. So ultimately, you're always going to get a yes to something. And I think that's a much nicer way to end the conversation than going away and thinking, oh, well, that wasn't worth it. That didn't work. We can end on a yes to something. It makes you feel so much better. But also, when you do send them the sample, make sure you follow up that sample. You know, and again, you know, you saw how in the conversation that Sian and I had, she started the conversation with, you know, did you like the samples that you got, the women's balance samples that you got? And that then led to the booking. So although they've said no at that point, at the first point, having got those samples into their hand, they might actually decide they do want to do something because they love the product, or they might just want to shop with you. So it's a really nice way of turning a not now or a no thank you into your yes.
Kate, can I just interrupt again? I'm just going to say that it was an obvious one because we've had the women's balance samples in orders. It was an easy way to have a conversation starter. From a standing start, going from your list of people that you wrote down and you circled for reasons why you were highlighting them as hosts, you could say to them, you could start the conversation by saying something like, I was considering inviting you to an evening that I'm going to run face to face. How exciting is that, to be actually able to meet each other again? However, I was wondering if actually you'd rather host that and have some of your friends together because, and then whatever reason you've written next to their name. So you're actually starting with two choices that doesn't quite fit into the 2 dates, 2 themes, etc. But it's a good reason to start the conversation. Think of a way that is your initiator, that follows on naturally from where you last had contact with them. And if you can't think of one, use the one I've just given. Because you're positioning that then as a better option than just coming as a customer to yours.
Yep. Lovely. I've just been writing that one down as well. Thanks, Sean.
You're welcome.
So here's my little summary. So when you're thinking about bookings, exactly as you were when you were talking about recruiting, it's about the host and what they want. What party theme would they like? How formal would they like the party? What date would they like? And what format of the party would they like, online or in person? My other advice is self-host often. Think about your seasonal themes and think about whether you want to self-host online or self-host in person. I think we've got very used to self-hosting online, but don't forget, we can invite people around to our houses instead. In fact, the other week I was going to do online and I realized that everybody was coming was really local and really lovely. So I invited them around to mine instead, and we had a really lovely evening. And then again, going back to what we were talking about earlier, build those relationships, follow up after the party, send them a new seasonal guide, send them offers that might interest them, add them to your mailing list, WhatsApp group, or however you communicate. Keep building that relationship, because it's that relationship that leads to future hosts, future sales, and potential new joiners as well.
Again, just before you go on, Kate, I think there is so much in those 3 boxes. And I just wanted to come back to the self-hosted ones in the middle. If, for instance, you put 3 a month as your number into the chat, one of those in any given month should be self-hosted. You are the host, you cannot say no to. And if you've got a broadcast list on WhatsApp, customer Facebook group, email list, however you want to communicate with your customers, everybody gets that month's theme and the next month's theme. So that the people who are forward planned can plan in to come next month, and the ones who shoot from the hip and don't know whether they're going to be free next Thursday until it's the week of, you're catering for both. So give them this month's date and the next one at least, if not for the quarter, for the season. And then what I usually say to customers is I'll send that out to everybody, because I don't want to make any assumptions about who wants to come. And in order to book a place, all you've got to do is reply to me. If the date doesn't work for you, ignore the message. And if you'd still like samples of that theme, even if you can't come, let me know and I can still send you some samples. And that often brings orders in of people who just basically use the products themselves at home and still place an order. And I always follow up with those people. I'm going to place the order from the workshop. Just wondered if you did want anything from the samples. But if you're trying to keep groups together from past parties, it's really difficult to keep track of what themes they've had. And some people want to come to the next one and some don't. And someone wants to bring a friend and all the rest of it. It just gets really messy. So when you've had a group of people together, offer them the chance to become part of your WhatsApp group, where you communicate with them on any offers or workshops that you're hosting yourself. And if someone within that group wants to host again, great. But that's a separate thing than being able to stay in touch with them themselves as individual customers. Just to pick up, Roxanne, on the point you've made in the chat there, what I would really suggest for customers is a WhatsApp broadcast list. And it's a subtle difference, but customers don't like their contact details being able to be seen by lots of other customers. because obviously they don't necessarily know each other. The great thing about a broadcast list is nobody sees anyone else's contact details, and neither do they get their heads done in by all the notifications that happen in a group. So a group for a workshop or party with the host setting that up and inviting you to be part of it is great, because everyone who's going to come to that event is in that group. They don't mind the notifications. Tell me when your box of samples has arrived, if it's an online one, blah, blah, blah. Details of the party, what you want them to bring or what time you're starting. Great. Then you want to move those people into a broadcast list. Okay. And I always say to customers, the great thing about broadcast lists is when you reply to me, nobody else sees the message. It comes up in the thread with you and me. And that really means people ask questions or respond to you more, because they don't feel like they're being exposed to people they don't know. And it's great for GDPR.
Yep.
Marie, really struggling to get attendees to self-hosted workshops at the moment. Can I just ask, is that online or face-to-face? Because if it's online, it's across the board. Everybody's finding the same.
Yep.
It's online.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's online, because I can't really do self-hosted at my house because of the shifts my husband works. So
Yeah.
he's in bed
Okay,
early
Marie.
evening, and so I can't. But online I can manage, because I can sort, one kid will be in bed and my daughter will still be up, but I can't really sort of do face-to-face ones at home.
Can you do face-to-face ones and leave the children or not?
No, they're too little. They're too young. Well, they're not little, but yeah. So my husband's here, but he's asleep.
Okay.
But
We probably need to
I
pick that up one-to-one. But what I am just going to say is that for some of you guys, self-hosted doesn't have to be at your house. Self-hosted could be at a local cafe on a Saturday morning. It could be at a local pub on a Tuesday night. They love it if you turn up on a Tuesday night, because the pub's always empty. And you could just take up a little alcove somewhere. You could have a customer who's willing to host it in her beautiful kitchen, and you all go there. But Marie, let's chat about that separately, and just maybe a different perspective on that will help come up with some creative ideas.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Brilliant. So now it's time to challenge you. If I was going to put dates in your diary, how many would you want in your diary?
Per month.
Pop your answers in the chat per month. Yeah. We've done a bit of this already, but let's just finish up with how many you'd like. If Sian's going to go out and get all those lovely hosts for you, how many hosts is Sian going to find you for your diaries?
Yeah, I'll be your PA.
Yep.
And whilst you're thinking about that, just check in on those £75, because if money is a motivator for you, if you've put 2, that in by my maths is 150 quid income. If you spend that on product, that's a separate issue. But if actually money is a motivator, what would it look like to do 3 instead of 2? Maybe it's 2 and a self-hosted. It's not a right or wrong. It's just match up the time and effort and focus you're going to give this with what you want the outcome to be.
Mm-hmm. These vibes.
And if anyone needs to change their minds.
You're going to be busy, Sian, getting all these hosts for everybody.
Yeah, the hot news is, guys, I've got my own diary to fill. Sorry, you need to be your own PA. The clue's in the title, independent consultant.
So having put those numbers in chat, now it's your turn. Find those hosts and get those bookings. That's what you've got to do next. Can you hear I'm being heckled in the background, or can you not hear that? You
I can hear
it.
the guinea pig squeaking.
They want their dinner. So get those bookings and then join us on the 30th of March again at 8 o'clock. And we're going to look at host coaching and rebooking. And I think you've got the lovely Xenia back for that one as well. And Sian, of course.
Oh, it'd be good to have Xenia back. She's been on holiday for far too long. It's about time she came home.
It is, yes.
Because that's the skill, isn't it, guys? As I said at the beginning, we're on a standing start at the moment. This is transferring skills from online to face-to-face. Marie, it's good to know, isn't it? Dubious comfort, I know, but if everybody's numbers are down, I mean, online event, I did one last week and I had 4 people. the numbers are really low.
Yeah.
When my business is 12 years old, I should not have 4 people at a self-hosted event. And that's because people are Zoom weary and they need to be with each other. So get creative and just think, right, if I'm going to be brave enough to do this, who's got a really nice place where we can hang out? Or is there a cafe I could use and go and chat to the lady about, if we buy tea and cake, can we have it here? Or local pub, or however you want to do it, in treatment room, if that works. But then the skill is going to be turning that booking into more bookings, so that we get a bit of a rolling cycle. And we, you know, in this business, we've modernized what used to be traditional party plan. It works. It's a tried and tested method for decades. And we just need to get back into the old way of doing it from before COVID, but with a modern take.
Yeah. Just thinking back to a lot of people having an awful lot of building work done at the moment. And one of the things I always used to say, you know, if somebody says to me, oh, I'm having building work, when's the building work finishing? And they give me a date. And I'd say, well, how about a couple of weeks later, we book a party in and you can show your lovely, beautiful new kitchen, lounge, whatever, to your friends. I used to get quite a lot of bookings that way, actually. Yeah. So another way of another thought of getting bookings in your diary. Who's had building work done and who might like to share it with their friends?
And you start having really annoying conversations in your head, like you want 3 more for April, and somebody says, oh, it's not finished till the middle of June, and you say, okay, well, let's make it the first week in July then. And you think, damn, I didn't want a party in July, I wanted it in April. We know it's going to come round soon enough, and it's great that when you're in June you think, well, that July one's been sitting there, I only need another 2 now.
Yep. Yeah.
Can I just ask a question that you know, with your product bag or your sort of the kit that you've got, I found that because I was just ordering for family and friends, it was the same sort of stock that I was ordering in and sort of hanging on to. So I need to increase a little bit more what I've got so that people can trial it. But obviously, you know, I haven't got a bottomless pit of the purse. So what products would you say? I tend to be the bath and the shampoo and the shower. I need to have a few more items really in there that people can trial. What would you suggest that I sort of pull in? The best sellers really, or
well, that's why we were talking about. So earlier I suggested using samples. So you don't have to go out and spend an absolute fortune on lots of different products to do parties. Get the samples that you need, and make sure you've got something that's a similar size or shape, so you can say to people, you know, it's the AHA toner, which, you know, is a pretty print label like that, but is in a bottle that looks that size.
Okay.
You don't have to go out and spend a fortune.
Okay.
Sample.
So I think Roxanne as well, pick it up with Jane, because that's where that coaching for all of you guys, not just Roxanne, but specific to your situation, like Marie and I are going to pick up that one about self-hosted. Roxanne, for you, I think it's about, right, what have I got in renewing my account, and what's my demographic of my customers? Are they into the Age Well range? Do I want to pick up on the spring skincare theme? But I would absolutely recommend that you move into facial products more than bath and body, especially for these face-to-face events, because it is over 50% of what we sell, and they're the higher price point items. And I think in an economic squeeze, people will potentially give up high quality bath and shower body products. They won't necessarily skimp on face.
Okay, thank you. That's what I was trying to gauge. Yeah,
and I think it's actually almost counterintuitive. It is true, and I've been in direct selling for 20 years, and I've seen that in a few recessions where people don't reduce so much their spending on face. You'd think that people would go for cheaper priced options, but they don't. They won't buy organic shower gel, for instance.
And by the nature of what it is, it's very difficult, really, I suppose, really, to sort of have a shower or a bath. You can't. So it's easier to show a facial product than it is a shower or a bath, isn't it? So it's logical.
The guests have got to know each other fairly well if you're going to get down that road. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
And have a very large bath or shower.
We're going off on a tangent now.
Brilliant.
Thank you. That's what I needed to know. So I'll concentrate now more on the facial stuff, and obviously I need to ramp up more my samples because I am low on those.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect. That's okay.
Yeah, and as Hazel points out in the chat, again, from a standing start, you've got a bit of an investment to make. But once you are repeat self-hosting, then you use the free and half price shopping to get the themes for the next things that you've got
Yeah.
coming up.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
So,
You inspired Ruth into a hot tub party, so
oh, that sounds like fun. So, you might have realised I quite like Winnie the Pooh, and I like his quotes. So my quote for you today is: "You can't stay in your corner of the forest waiting for others to come to you. You have to go to them sometimes."
Yeah, true.
So go find your hosts. Very occasionally you'll get the call from somebody or a message from somebody that says, "I'd really love to host a party," but they're few and far between. So you need to go out and you need to find those hosts. And hopefully we've given you the tools to work out when you want to do it, what you want to do, who you're going to call, not Ghostbusters, and yeah, go for it and get on with it. And let's see that party or Sian will see that party calendar build up nicely, as will Xenia.
okay, so party calendar, let's just do a little plug for that. When you go into the consultant website and you've got that on a computer, you've got a blue bar that runs all the way along the top of the screen. Under my account, it says bookings calendar or party calendar, I think it is anyway. And the point of that there is that it's a good way to register the bookings that you've got. It makes you check in on how many you've got, but it's also something the leaders can use as some idea of what's going on, a bit of activity, do some coaching around that. The company also use that in terms of forecasting stock we're likely to be needing. It's kind of consistently inconsistent, but all of it just gives a bit of a benchmark of activity. So just get into the habit of going there when you've got bookings and just adding them to the calendar. That'd be great.
Perfect. Okay.
That's good. Some nice things in the chat.
Excellent.
Kate, that was fantastic. Thank you. I love the clarity of your training. So you just have this way of thinking, right, well, let's just get on with it then. It's very straightforward. I love it. Does anybody have any burning questions before we finish? If so, please unmute. And we'd be happy to answer those before we go. Lots of thank yous in the chat.
Pleasure. Marie's asking, do we know the April theme yet?
We don't, Marie. That's going to come out of Spring Summit. However, there will be a product focus on the Frankincense Intense range because it's Stress Awareness Month. So using the frankincense products to practice our mindful inhalation will be really good. I do that on a daily basis with that frankincense hydrating essence. It is incredible, followed up by the Lift Serum. It is just a little moment of oasis in the day. So doing that with some of our customers will be really nice.
Yep. Okay.
Great. Thank you for joining us, guys. Thank you again, Kate. That was fantastic. And thank you, Winnie the Pooh, as ever. When it comes to rules for life, you can rely on Winnie the Pooh, can't you?
Always. Yeah.
Keep us posted, guys. If you come across any bumps in the road, it's difficult, you've got a tricky conversation going on WhatsApp, phone a friend. Don't struggle on. Just, just pause in the conversation like Kate did when she went off to have a social life, for goodness sake, meet up with her friends. Then you can always take a pause and let your upline leader know that you could do with a bit of input as to how to steer the conversation back on course. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks then.